Because people ask us, Ange, how can you afford all this travel? Well, normally, we can do it once or twice a year. But if we have to borrow from our measly stash, from a little stash, when you're living cheap in Italy or Ecuador, you just put it back.
He's good at that. He's really good at that.
You borrow and you put it back.
Buenas tardes.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick strategy right here to help you be successful with your plans to live abroad. Okay, say you have a certain amount of money to spend per month, right? And you've got your spots where you can live on half that. And then you got your spot where you can live on the full amount or more. So what you've got to do is you've got to have a situation where when, say you get to a place and you can live on $1,000 a month. So you can live on $1,000 a month there, and you stay there for 3 months and you save $3 grand. So you have $2,000 a month coming in. You save $3 grand. Now you got 3 extra grand. So you got 3 extra grand. So when you go to a place that's more expensive, or your airfare, whatever it is, you got to do your math. You take that 3,000 and you make it happen. The other way to do it is, I said in a different video, that you really should have some savings. You don't need to be a millionaire. It doesn't have to be a lot of savings. It just has to be enough savings that you can borrow from your own savings and then pay it back. So say you need $2,000 or $1,000 for an air ticket, or say you need an extra $1,000 for 3 months living in, say, Panama, because the food's super expensive there. So you borrow the 2 grand, 2 extra grand from your savings. You can see now that your stash doesn't have to, the only thing your stash needs to be able to do is to weather the amount you borrow. So you have to pencil out how much would you be borrowing. So if you have $10,000 saved up, you borrow $2,000 from it, and then when you fly over to the place where you can live on $700 or $1,000, then you save that $2,000 or $3,000 and put it back. Now, if you don't have any discipline, I mean, you gotta have the discipline that you're gonna put it back, okay? Because if you don't put it back, then your travels are gonna end. I don't want to call it a stash, because stash is normally understood to be a lot more money, but it could be a small stash. I mean, obviously you should have an emergency stash, and then you should have a travel stash that you can borrow from, and it could be as low as several $1,000s. So, but if you're savvy enough, you can make it work, and it can happen, because that's what we do. Because people ask us, Ange, how can you afford all this travel? Well, normally, we can do it once or twice a year. But if we have to borrow from our measly stash, from a little stash, when you're living cheap in Italy or Ecuador, you just put it back.
He's good at that. He's really good at that.
You borrow and you put it back. And as I previously said, even if you have mid to upper 5 figures, you can use these strategies to just put that much more money aside, and you can decide what you can do with that. You can travel more, you can be more generous, you can do whatever you want. And at the very least, I guarantee you're going to be treated differently, because you're not part of that mainstream, higher, more expensive. Listen, the whole world, especially the RAM circuit, is starting to become just a high-priced tourist circuit. I mean, all you have to do is open your eyes and look at what their followers are doing. I've always said that a industrious frugalist is first and foremost a possibility thinker, right? We were
Right, yeah.
We were talking about that in Panama. So we work in the realm of possibilities, not impossibilities. So don't feel bad if you're not a multimillionaire and you're watching all these videos online and you feel bad because you feel like you're shut out. You're just in the wrong spot. You need to come to this channel and subscribe.
Yeah.
Anybody can make promises that they're going to show you how to do this, but consider the source. We have been doing it, and we show you that we're doing it. And I'm sure we're not the only ones in the world, but we're right here. You can come on our channel and get to know us and see how we do it. And you know, even for those of you that are mid to upper four-figure people, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being more diligent with your money, right? It's a virtue. All right, you know what to do if you like the video, and check out the goodies we got for you below. Have a nice day.